The G-Class isn't an SUV, says Emmerich Schiller, CEO of Mercedes' G-Class sub-brand, it's an off-roader. He's not wrong, either, because there are few places on Earth the regular G500 or G63 can't get you. But back in 2015, with the previous G-Class nearing the end of its life, the company produced the G-Class 4x4 Squared, a mad machine with portal axles that took the G-Class to new heights, in every sense. Despite expectations of building just 150 G500 4x4 Squared S, Merc produced around 2,100. Enough, then, to justify another one, although this time it's based on the most powerful AMG version, which makes this 4x4 Squared even more extreme. You'll struggle to see under the bonnet without a ladder, such as the height increase from those portal axles, but take a peek and you'll find AMG's 577 bhp 4.0-liter twin-turbo V8. That can slingshot the G63 4x4 Squared from 0 to 62 miles per hour in a preposterous 5 seconds and onto 131 miles per hour, almost regardless of the surface beneath its 22-inch wheels. That's half a second slower than a standard G63, which is forgivable due to the additional 370 kilograms or so that the 4x4 Squared specification adds, but being sat so high, it doesn't feel any less hilariously rapid. Indeed, it feels more so. Much of that weight is in the new axles, which feature helical gears rather than the straight-cut items in the 4x4 Squared's predecessor. That's been done for refinement, so the gear whine that was obvious in the old model has gone, providing real civility inside, so long as you've not got that V8 blaring out of the side exit exhaust pipes at full revs. Do that and you'll enjoy a gloriously overt soundtrack and shocking speed. Driving the 4x4 Squared, you're overcome with a feeling of total authority, of being in a vehicle that could face Armageddon. There are compromises, naturally, but they're not as extensive as you might imagine, and they largely center on the sheer scale of the car. Climbing in requires some athleticism, but once there, besides the camera-fed rearview mirror, it's all familiar if you've sat in a G-Class before. That means there's something of a modern and ancient mix, with large touchscreens that contrast with push buttons, but it all works well, and the spacious interior is finished beautifully. The three biggest buttons in the center console operate the locking differentials, while there's a low-range button and drive modes to select, too. The 12.3-inch screens can display everything from inclinometers and the suspension articulation to a forward-view camera. Selecting the off-road modes allows the G63 4x4 Squared to go absolutely anywhere you point it, thanks to its significantly increased ground clearance, up 113 mm to 351 mm, and approach, departure and breakover angles, and fording depths that are almost unrivaled. It means there really ain't no mountain high enough, or river. Well, you get the idea. On the road, where, let's face it, most 4x4 Squared S are more likely to spend the majority of their time, it's surprisingly light-footed for such a big machine. Like a rugby prop forward, it's weighty but agile, and this new G63 4x4 Squared actually turns in with a finesse that simply wasn't possible with its predecessor. There's been a fair bit of chassis tuning to allow that, so much so that if you order yours with the optional roof rack, with a 90 kg dynamic load limit, or 180 kg when static if you plan on putting a roof tent on it, you get a different ESP setting to account for the higher center of gravity. It rides well, too, although get too carried away and the ESP will start to make its presence felt, albeit more in the background than front of house. Price, C.pound 250,000. Engine, 4.0-liter twin-turbo V8. Power/torque, 577 bhp/850 Nm. Transmission, 9-speed automatic, 4-wheel drive. 0 to 62 miles per hour, 5.0 seconds. Top speed, 131 miles per hour. Economy, 11.7 miles per gallon. CO2, 456 grams/km.